Welcome to Pulp Era Story Reviews Episode 4. Now, one of the most fun aspects of the Pulp magazine era was how specific the focus of some magazines could be. There were general fiction magazines. There were pulp magazines that specialized in detective and mystery stories. There were those that specialized in westerns. There were science fiction pulps. There were those that specialized in war stories. There were those that did sports stories. There were those that covered jungle adventures. There were those that featured the adventures of specific characters, such as Doc Savage here, or The Shadow, or The Spider, or G8. And then there were the magazines that really narrowed their focus. Probably the most fun example of this is Zeppelin Stories. If you wrote a story that was set aboard a Zeppelin or involved a Zeppelin in some way, then by golly, you could send it to the editors of Zeppelin Stories and they might be able to use it. Another example is Submarine Stories. In order to get your piece of fiction published here, it had to involve a submarine in some way. And this is perfectly fine. Subs aren't quite as cool as Zeppelins, but they're pretty darn close. Now, the March 1930 issue of Submarine Stories featured a tale called Six Shells Left by Alan Bosworth. Now, I don't know a lot about Mr. Bosworth. I looked up his bibliography, and judging from that, he was a professional pulp writer who could turn out tales in a variety of genres. He did war stories, detective stories, westerns, and so on. Six Shells Left is set during the First World War. Although in March 1930, of course, that would have been simply called the Great War because there hadn't been a Second World War yet. It starts out by introducing us to Soapy McDowell, a con man who runs fake seances, using his unusually long and dexterous toes to manipulate things under the table and will replicate the knocking and the bell ringing that seances are supposed to invoke. When he's caught, he picks joining the Navy over going to jail. Now soon, he's assigned to a gun crew aboard a civilian merchant ship. When that ship is attacked by a U-boat while crossing the Atlantic, the civilian crew abandons ship, while the sailors fight a gun duel with the German sub. The sub is on the surface, trying to capture the merchant without using up any of its torpedoes. Now soon, the American crew is down to just 6 shells, and their own ship has taken heavy damage from the sub's deck gun, so they're forced to surrender. This doesn't do them much good, though, since the sub-CO opts to tie them up, intending to leave them aboard the ship after he's done looting it. Then he's going to sink the ship with them still aboard it. But Soapy's ability to manipulate objects with his toes just might give the sailors a chance to get free and get the drop on the U-boat crew. If they can manage that, then the 6 shells they have left for their gun is going to be more than enough to finish doing their job. Now, this is a fun story. Soapy's odd talent is perhaps telegraphed a little too forcefully early in the story. It would have been more fun if it had been a surprise to the readers. But Bosworth's conversational prose moves the story along quickly, giving you the pleasant feeling of someone telling this story to you. It's as if you're lounging in your grandfather's den while he recounts a personal war story to you that may or may not be actually true. The main characters may not be memorable, but they're likable enough, and the action scenes do generate their share of excitement. 6 Shells Left may not be a classic, but by golly, it gets its job done in providing its readers with some escapism and entertainment. It's available to read now in an electronic book called the Adventure Megapack that's available for either the Kindle or the Nook. This is included amongst 24 other excellent adventure stories from the pulp era, and I highly recommend that book. Well, that's it for now. Hopefully I'll have another review soon. In the meantime, you can visit me at my blog, comics, old-time radio, and other cool stuff.